Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for the Wolverine. The three fingers, do it like this. That's the symbol for the Wolverine. And I was very much looking forward to this film, and I feel like I'm like one of the only people out there that was looking forward to this. I thought the trailers themselves looked good. I really liked the story, the premise. The Wolverine, of course, played by Hugh Jackman, goes to Japan and fights samurais and ninjas and whatnot. That's a great concept, and from what I've heard, it's probably one of the best comic runs of the Wolverine ever, or just Wolverine ever. So I was looking forward to seeing this very much. So what did I think of the Wolverine, directed by James Mangold, the guy that directed 3:10 to Yuma, one of my favorite movies in the last few years? Let's talk about the story. Alright, so the story for the Wolverine is actually a sequel to X-Men 3, way more than it is for X-Men Origins Wolverine. And of course it follows Wolverine, Logan, played by Hugh Jackman, for what, the sixth time? I don't know. But I think sixth time, if you count X-Men First Class. But maybe seventh. I don't know. Maybe. I lost count. There's so many X-Men movies. So the story here follows Wolverine, who is a broken man, because of course what happened in X-Men 3 with Jean Grey, and he doesn't really have many other people he cares about. He's a broken dude, and he's just a homeless guy now. He just roams around, sleeps outside. He just wants to die, but he can't because of the regenerative factor and of course his adamantium skeleton. So he really wants to die though. He's a broken dude. So of course someone comes up named Yokio, an Asian woman of course, and she says, "Hey, Wolverine, there's someone from your past that would like to say goodbye before he dies," because of course this was a long time ago. He's friggin' immortal, and this guy's about to die, so he wants to say goodbye because you saved him a long time ago. So he goes to Japan. He says goodbye to this guy who runs this big company. I mean, he's a big, huge company. And then he meets the daughter, the granddaughter of said person, and he starts to start feeling some feels. He starts getting emotions, and of course, bad stuff starts happening. The Yakuza just starts going after this daughter, this granddaughter, because she's going to be the heir of the business and stuff. And of course, Wolverine has to step in and go and save her and fight some samurais, ninjas, Yakuza members, and whatnot. So that's really the story. I'm not going to explain too much after that. So there you go. That's the story for the Wolverine. Now, I just love the concept of Wolverine goes to Japan, which sounds like an Ernest movie. Ernest goes to Japan. Wolverine goes to Japan. As long as he doesn't dress in drag, I'm okay with that. But he goes to Japan, and I thought it would be awesome if he actually starts training like a samurai, which I think is how the comic goes, if I'm correct. He actually starts training with swords or something. That would have been awesome, but really that's not what the story is about. It's pretty much a Wolverine movie in Japan. You get some nice locales, some beautiful scenery, cinematography is great, and you get some really likable characters. All the side characters are really likable, especially Yokio, who is a badass in this film. I can't remember the actress's name. I can't remember any actor or actress's names here besides Hugh Jackman, but she's a badass. I love her. I want to see her in more films, and everybody is really good in this film and really likable. But I wish it was doing what I thought. I thought Wolverine was going to turn into a samurai. There's only like one or two parts where he actually holds a sword and uses it, which kind of sucks. Now, when you watch a Wolverine movie, you want to see him use his claws, but I did want to see him use a samurai sword at least a few times. And there is some really cool scenes where he does fight a dude with a sword, but he uses his claws. I don't know, that was just something I wanted to see more. But the story here is actually very well done. The script itself, for the most part, is decent, nothing amazing. There's some good dialogue, and they actually put a lot of emotional parts in here. And you really do feel for Logan, Wolverine. It's been so many movies, and he's the same character he's always been. And I love that. You see the progression from even X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is not a very good film, but Hugh Jackman is great in that. And you can see the progression from that to X-Men 1, to X-Men 2, to X-Men 3, to this. And yeah, I just love that progression, and I love the character, and I love the concept of the story. I wish I would have saw some more samurai stuff. Cars. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's the story. I think the story here is very well done, and so is the acting. The acting is great. Hugh Jackman is awesome, just like he always is. So there you go. There's the story and the acting. Now, I already said the movie is beautiful looking, and I want to quote a tweet. Yeah, I want to quote a tweet. Now, I can't remember who actually did the tweet, but I thought this quote was great. They said that the Wolverine is exactly what Skyfall was for the James Bond series. Now, James Bond always has great, beautiful looking locales, but Skyfall was gorgeous, and the cinematography was definitely the best of all the movies. And I have to admit, the Wolverine looks beautiful, beautiful. The best I've ever seen for an X-Men movie ever. So it looks amazing. So yeah, it definitely looks beautiful. There's some scenes where I was like, wow, that just gorgeous. It does. Now they don't do too many scenes where you just see, oh, big, oh, look at all the city scope and stuff, ooh, look at all that. But no, there is some really beautiful shots here. The special effects are so much better than they were in X-Men Origins. That's what I was scared of. I thought maybe, all right, they're lowering the budget here, they're lowering it by about $50 million, so special effects might not look as good, but really, because the movie does a lot of sword play and stuff, it doesn't even feel like a regular superhero film for a very long time. It feels like a movie with a guy that can, extend claws out of his fists, and that's it. And it starts to get into superhero stuff way later, especially in the last 20 minutes, but, generic stuff. But for the most part, it doesn't even feel like a superhero film. The special effects are just there. His claws look great. Good, thank you. X-Men Origins Wolverine, the claws looked horrible. Here they look way better. All the other little special effects here and there. The Silver Samurai, which we all know is going to be in the film later, looks great. So all those special effects they throw in there, they're very vague at times. They're not even that, they're not in your face, but they look good for the most part. And the action here is great as well. Now, I was scared at first that it was going into just not being a typical superhero film where it's actually slowing down, having some conversations with characters to build character, and where we're going to have too many action scenes. Now, to be honest, if I can get rid of all the generic action scenes in an action movie and actually have a lot of really good dialogue and fleshed out characters, I would definitely take that. But Wolverine, there was a part where I was like, okay, we need some action, and then they liven it up, and there's a whole 10-minute sequence where it jumps from a bunch of ninjas and, well, I'm sorry, not ninjas, Yakuza members attacking a little, I don't even know what to call it. They were just attacking Wolverine and a bunch of other people. Then it jumps onto a bullet train, and then Wolverine's fighting on the top of a bullet train, jumping around and stuff. Then it goes back to dialogue, then it goes back to action, and then dialogue, then action. And it does a good job of spreading out the action, making them long enough, and then giving us more dialogue. And the dialogue is really good. I really like that they tried to make all the characters more fleshed out, including Wolverine. And the action here is very, very well done, very well shot. I knew what was going on. And it's pretty brutal at times. Now, it's a PG-13 film. Do not expect him to be cutting up people. It's not Wolverine, the game that came out a few years ago. But there's times where it actually does get very violent for a PG-13 film and very disturbing. There's one part where, I don't really want to spoil, but someone has to reach into their stomach and get something out, which you can pretty much guess who that is. But I'm not going to spoil what happens, but it's pretty disgusting. It's actually kind of hard to watch, especially the expression on that actor's face. They did a great job, because I was like, oh, And there's actually a scene where someone gets hung, and it's not just a regular hanging. Someone gets hit so hard that their neck just breaks and just float around, and it looked pretty cool. So yeah, it's very violent, probably the most violent X-Men movie I've seen. So not as violent as the video game, like I said, but it's violent for PG-13. It's really fun. The action is great. The characters are really likable. There's a love story in there that I didn't really care for, because I don't know, they kind of made it was a little generic, but for the most part, I really enjoyed this film. Actually, just almost all around, I love this film, actually. I really, really enjoyed myself here. And also, the little clip halfway through the credits, perfect. Perfect lead into the next X-Men film. So there you go. There is my review for the Wolverine. I'm going to give it a 36 out of 40. Great way to end the superhero summer. Now, there's going to be plenty of other movies, and actually Kick-Ass 2 comes out still, but whatever. So anyway, it was a good movie. Definitely go check it out. Very fun. I really liked it. There you go. There's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and goodbye.